Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Arriving at the job site with a well-formulated plan is only half of the duty of the crew leader. The other half is effectively accomplishing the plan. In this module, we'll discuss 4 keys for success on the job site. Let's start with an overview, then dig into specifics. The first key is organization of your materials and equipment. An organized job site is a productive job site because crew members can quickly find what they need to complete their work. They won't be tripping over each other, materials, or tools trying to get the job done. A tidy job site is reassuring to both the supervisor and the client. It says, we're well organized and we know what we're doing. The second key is good task time estimates. You want to know how much time you have allotted to each task, and then be sure the work done matches those times. Avoid underestimating. Here's a good rule of thumb to follow. Make an educated guess about how long it will take, then multiply by 2 and add 10% to arrive at a reasonable estimate. A great way to increase your accuracy is by comparing your estimates to actual results from past jobs. We'll talk about how to do that a little bit later on. The third key is a safe work site. Injuries cause delays and can be pretty expensive for your company. A messy job site is an accident just waiting to happen, and team members who are rushed can make unsafe decisions. Unsafe working practices can cause acute and chronic injuries. Workers dealing with sore knees or injured backs aren't going to be as productive as those who have taken steps to avoid injury. The fourth key is to avoid common pitfalls. We'll review items that are frequently skipped or overlooked to be sure they don't happen to you. Let's take a closer look at each of these keys for success in practice. Your goal is to have a job site where workers have easy access to tools and supplies, where they have clear direction on what to do, and where it's easy to keep the job site clean and organized. Here are the things wise crew leaders do to make sure the site stays organized. Number 1. Set up a staging area for tools and materials. Choose a center point close to the day's work activity, or, if it is close by, work from a truck or trailer. It's best if the staging area is organized, with materials grouped and sorted, not just thrown into some pile. On larger jobs, especially on tight job sites shared with other contractors, maintaining a staging area takes a bit more effort and coordination. Pick a location that's not in the path of other work activities, but still convenient to the job site. Coordinate deliveries and material storage so that they work for your crew and for other contractors on the job site. For larger job sites, you might need to use job boxes or other containers to store your working materials and common tools that can be secured at the end of the day. Number 2. Keep tools organized. Easy to lose or go missing and quick to bring work to a halt. Tools are the lifeblood of the job. Keeping them functional, ready, and easy to find is essential to avoid downtime. Assign crew members his or her own set of tools, and make him or her responsible for their care. Mark tools with crew members' names or with color coding. Set up a table or designate a place on the job site where all crew members can find shared tools when they need them, and where they return tools as soon as they are done using them. Examples of shared tools might be power tools, or tools that are used only for specific tasks. By having a shared space to place these tools, one crew member does not need to waste their time pestering everyone else to find one of these shared resources. The goal is less wasted time. By the way, if your crew members are spending too much time looking for tools, just buy some spares. It's way cheaper to have 2 wheelbarrows than to have crew members waiting to borrow back the one you have on the site. Create toolkits-based tasks by using organizers, buckets, or containers. Your team will not be unpacking everything from your truck or job trailer each day. Instead, they'll simply take out the kit they need for the task at hand. For example, you'll have a set of electrical tools related to hanging an irrigation controller. The task only needs to be done once during a job. Make it easy for crew members to grab a toolbox and go, instead of hunting and sorting through an entire collection of tools. Have an organization system for commonly used consumable materials, like wire nuts, fittings, connectors, so on and so forth, to prevent workers from spending time rifling through boxes of miscellaneous parts in search of what they need. Keep an accurate inventory of what you have by checking in materials when they arrive from a delivery on-site, or as you're loading them into the truck at the distributor. Make sure you have everything you ordered and organizing it will prevent lost time that can be caused by a simple error oversight. 3. Keep the job site clean by having a plan for garbage. Setting up trash cans throughout the site makes it easy for crew members to clean up while they work, so they don't have to walk all the way across the job site to find trash cans. Plus, it will save cleanup time at the end of the day. You can also set out different trash cans for different kinds of waste, including trash, compostable, and scrap materials that could still be useful. You can get different colored trash cans to create a color-coded system on the job site that will allow crew members to quickly identify the trash can they are looking for. Keeping up with trash and waste on the job site is also an important safety precaution, preventing trip or slip hazards in the areas where crew members are working. An organized waste collection system gets the waste off the ground and into containers. The goal of tool and material organization is to keep work going, and time spent on the organization will be repaid in efficiency. I promise you that. So, create your organization system and implement it on every single job. Be sure you correctly estimate times to do each task, and then measure your efforts against those times. I suspect we've all had the experience of looking at a job and thinking, well, this should take about an hour. And 4 hours later, when we're still not finished, we're really behind. Underestimation can wreak havoc on your plan, causing tension between the crew leader and the crew. Unmet expectations or unrealistic expectations lead to bad morale and frustration. The cure is to estimate task times accurately. Keep records from past jobs to guide the accuracy of your estimates, and avoid guesswork. Experts say that you want to break down a project into specific discrete tasks that might be assigned to a specific laborer and then understand how long he or she will take to do it. Different tasks will require different ways to quantify the labor, so your system will naturally reflect the nature of the work you're doing. For example, for irrigation, calculate installation times per sprinkler head, per valve, and per foot of pipe, in addition to time estimates for things like installing the controller, tapping a water main at the meter pit or inside the house, and installing a sleeve under a sidewalk. For landscape lighting, track installation times per fixture and per foot of wire run. Also, noting times for installing the transformer, sleeving, and aiming or adjustments per fixture. For water gardens, note installation times per foot of perimeter or per foot of stream. You can also note installation times for specialty features. For holiday lighting, note installation times per strand of lights or per foot of roofline. Snow removal can be quantified by square foot of parking lot or linear foot of sidewalk. The key is to quantify production in useful ways so that you can plan adequately for the job. It can be real easy to misjudge the size of a project when taking a quick glance at the plan. 2 different projects might look similar on the plan, but even a 25% difference in the size of the job can make a big difference in how long it takes the crew to complete each separate task. If you need to generate time studies, you can do that through observing standard work on a typical site. Take notes during the day about how long it takes to do each task and what quantity of work was done. This could be as simple as writing down start and end times as each task is completed on your workflow. You can determine your production rate using the following formula. Number of hours for the task divided by quantity of units equals hours per unit of production. You can then compare this number to other jobs to see how you did and use the data going forward to estimate tasks in the future. It may seem like an unnecessary step to do this, and as you get better at estimating task times, you may not even need to check the data every day. But don't underestimate how much this data can help you evaluate how well your team is performing. Periodically checking production rates can help you identify increases or decreases in productivity, problem tasks that are taking more time than they should, and the efficiencies and inefficiencies of your team. Once you're alerted to these, you can work to improve problem areas and learn from areas where your team is excelling. Good data gives you the tools you need to improve your team's performance. By setting a time budget for each task, you'll be able to understand whether the job is running on schedule, and you will be able to adjust if you're running behind on a critical task by shifting resources.
This is not a drill.
The best start to maintaining a safe work site is to keep it organized. A messy work site is a dangerous one. You remember that. Make sure all slip or trip hazards are kept out of walkways, and that trash is quickly deposited into a trash can before it can accumulate and become a hazard. Another key to safe production is allowing adequate time for the tasks to be completed. If the crew is always rushing to meet your production goals that are unnecessarily demanding, they are more likely to ignore proper safety measures in order to meet time pressures. It's your responsibility to make safety a priority on the job site. Make sure workers wear personal protective equipment when required, and that they always follow safety protocols. You and the crew need to know what the protocols are, and you must all follow them. Never put safety at risk by rushing tasks. Taking time to do things the right way and the safe way will help create a culture that supports safe work practices. Looking the other way when crew members take safety shortcuts is not really recommended. It creates a bad precedent that could leave you open to many problems if an accident should occur. It takes more than a work safely or be careful speech to genuinely advocate for safety on the job site. Support your crew with quality safety equipment, properly made tools, and adequate safety training to reinforce your commitment to their safety. Work to promote an atmosphere where they are not afraid to ask questions or voice concerns about safety. The biggest unnecessary expense on any job site is lost time, in the form of job stoppages, time wastage, and general inefficiency. As the crew leader, it's your job to identify causes of lost time and to anticipate potential sources of it in the future. We've talked about some of the most common sources of lost time already, including time spent looking for tools and materials, accidents, and planning failures that result in work stoppages. Other common sources of lost time include things like equipment failures, lost or missing materials, and incorrectly installed components. Anything that can bring work to a halt or require work to be done again is a potential source of lost time. Careful planning, thorough organization, and an awareness of how the job is progressing on site will allow you to minimize the impact of these sources of lost time and make the most of your crew's time on the job site. A well-run job site is your duty. Use careful planning and accurate data to help create an awareness of where and how you can improve. Put the ideas you've learned today into practice on your next project. You'll find everyone, from your crew members to your boss to your customers, will appreciate your leadership and initiative.
Oh, for sure.